Good morning and welcome to the North Country Outdoor Channel. I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. I hope you're staying positive and doing what makes you happy. Hey, before we get started, just do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. I would really appreciate it if you support what I'm doing here. I know it's going to be a great day for me because I just got a phone call and we're headed to look at a tree job, and it's an insurance claim. So, as you know, if you follow me, that's my favorite type of work. So I'm going to go check that job out, and then we'll get the day started. So thanks for coming along. So I'm sitting in my truck here at the pharmacy waiting for a script to get filled. And the strangest thing, the past couple days when I step out of my vehicle or my house, all I smell is pollen. Like, it's an overwhelming smell of pollen in the air, which is... it's a little strange to me. I don't know. Is that normal? It's August. Is that normal to smell pollen? Like, so strong that you're like, wow, that's pollen. I don't know. I just thought that was strange and I'd share that. So ever since the other day when I did that vlog where I went to the family sawmill and I took this truck, my Super Duty, I hadn't driven it in a while, and I've kind of rekindled my love for it. I don't know why I wasn't driving it, but I've been driving it ever since, and I parked my gas truck back at home, and I really haven't driven that. I know, it's a rough life deciding which truck to drive, isn't it? But no, I love diesels. Ever since I've owned a diesel, I can't go back to gas for my primary truck. Plowing snow and hauling trailers and doing what I do, there's just no comparison between a gas and a diesel. My gas truck does haul trailers, but man, it struggles, and it's a 3/4 ton. It's constantly upshifting and downshifting and doing all sorts of funky monkey business, and it just does not like to work. And then you hook up to a trailer with a diesel, and it's like it's not even back there. In fact, my 32-foot camper we took out to Yellowstone, and with this diesel here, and it was like it wasn't even there, man. This thing just hauls it just crazy. So what do you guys drive? Do you drive gas or diesel, or what do you prefer and why? A lot of it's probably going to depend on what you do from day to day, and obviously, you know, somebody that's just driving around and not really hauling or working probably doesn't need a diesel. But there's a lot of people that don't work their truck and just like diesels because diesels are awesome. So let me know what you drive. Okay, so I'm gonna fire up the Alaska chainsaw mill here pretty soon, but right now, before I do that, what I need to do is I need to take and get the tractor off the trailer and put the bucket on it and get this area right here cleaned up, because I need a place to stack the lumber that I'm cutting. So we're gonna have to go ahead and get that cleaned up and then start stacking lumber over there. So let's go ahead and drop this log grapple off right here, then we'll go grab the bucket. See if we can't scoop this up first try. Wada bing, wada boom. Lots of practice though. That's the thing about YouTube. I could have tried that like 63 times and said it was my first try, but I promise it was my first try. This shouldn't take too long to get this mess cleaned up. This is a straw bale right here. That's been there for a while. I was using it to cover my grass seed a couple years ago. I'm just getting around to cleaning it up. Fail. As I said yesterday, I don't have a lot of room here at this house. There's 3 lots here, but it's just not enough room to do what I need to do. You know, love to have a chunk of property and be, you know, I wouldn't go completely off grid, but I would definitely like to do modern homesteading. live off the land but use modern technology. Man, having a tractor around, I tell you what, it makes day-to-day tasks so much easier. Like, there's no excuse not to do things now because the tractor basically does it for you. So ladies, if you want your husbands to have no excuse, buy him a tractor. He'll be forever grateful that he has a tractor, and he won't have an excuse not to do what you ask. That's a lie. Sometimes my wife asks me to do certain things and it takes me a long time to get them done. But rarely do they involve something outside where I might be able to use the tractor to get that task accomplished. Fall is definitely here. It's went from the high 80s to mid 90s to 60s and 70s. That's my kind of weather. Football season's coming. Man, love it. Love fall. Fall's my favorite time of year. Except for I always feel rushed to get everything done before the snow flies, because all of my plow trucks, I'll let them sit all summer and then I'll start working on them in October because I'm a procrastinator. And we've had snow in October before, and then you just run into crunch time issues where you're not ready for snow and you need to be. So that's pretty cleaned up good enough for now right there. We got a little compost pile over there. I haven't put anything on it in a while, but I'm really just looking to use this area right here to stack some boards. So this here is just kind of the neighborhood dump pile. We bring our leaves and stuff in here in the fall, and it's just a dump pile just around the corner from my house. Before we get even to the sawmill portion of this, we got to do a couple things. The first thing here is we got to change the chain from a standard chain to a ripping chain. The saw that I use on the mill is a Husqvarna 562 XP. With a 24-inch bar. And the difference in a standard chain for cutting wood and a ripping chain is nothing more than just the angle of which it's sharpened. I'll see if I can show you here. This is a standard chain, and you can see that the angle here at which it's sharpened is 30 degrees, and then your ripping chain, if you can see a difference, is almost straight across right here. It's like straight across. That's at 10 degrees. So that's the difference, because when you cut wood on a mill like this, you're cutting cross grain, so you want a less steep cutting angle, and it goes through the wood better. So we'll change this out. Don't put your chainsaw chain on backwards. I've done it. And then you wonder why it don't cut. How many of you guys put your chainsaw chain on backwards and wonder why it didn't cut? Comment below. I bet you a lot of people have done it. If not, then I feel like an idiot. I like to run my chains a little on the looser side when it's on the mill, just because the less resistance the better. Now, we can get to where we put this puppy on the mill. What you gotta do is just loosen up these nuts here. So the bar can fit through there. And actually all you need to do this is just your regular chainsaw wrench, your scrunch, if you will. Because Granberg, they were smart and they thought, well, we'll just make it so you can adjust this without having to have a bunch of tools. Although I prefer to use a ratchet wrench or a ratchet, I'm just going to show you how you can do it here. Just the chainsaw wrench fits right on there. You can see it would be faster with a ratchet wrench, but for in the bush, the less tools you have, the better off you are. So I really like that idea. The log that I'm going to be sawing, I may have a little bit of trouble because this bar might not be long enough. We'll see. This will take up to this mill. This will slide out and it'll take up to I believe a 36-inch bar. I only have a 24-inch bar on there right now, so take another 12 inches, which 36-inch bar that'd cut through some pretty serious stuff. So what's happened here is I've tightened this too tight and it's actually locked up the nose of the chain and it's not letting it move. So I gotta loosen it up a little bit. This wouldn't happen if it was a smaller piece of wood because I would actually have this back further and it wouldn't actually be right towards the nose. But now that I'm towards the nose, I gotta be careful how tight I put that. Alright, we're moving free now. We fill our gas and oil and then go get set up on the log. This seems like a lot of work, but really it's not. I mean, compared to a conventional sawmill, it's a lot of work, but I do it more just for a fun thing to do. I haven't been doing it for very long. I'm actually borrowing this mill from a good friend of ours. I'm gonna end up buying my own, but for right now I'm just gonna use this one. I always run name brand bar and chain oil just because I feel like Husqvarna and Steel have put the research and development into it, and they're actually more likely to warranty if something breaks if you have been using the manufacturer's recommended oil. And I always run Husqvarna XP. This gas can, I got a new one coming. This gas can is called a combi can. Some people call it a Dalmar, where you got your gas in one side and your bar oil in the other, which it's handy, but this can has seen better days. This is not the right head that's on it and it leaks. Okay, so what we're doing here is quite simple. You gotta have they make a jig for this, but I don't own one, so I'm gonna try something new here by putting a level board here, one on each side, and then we'll run a 2x12 across the top of it. That should give me my level surface that I need for my first cut. I lied, this isn't a 2x12, it's a 2x8. There, that should work. Some people use a ladder. Some people make their own jig, which I'll probably make my own here eventually. But okay, so the next thing we have to figure out is at what height do we want to make this first cut? And it has to come underneath this board. Sometimes this is if you don't do it just right, it's a little bit of a bugger. So we'll stick this on here. And it looks to me like we want to come down quite a ways. So what I ended up having to do here was I took and I cut these off shorter so this will fit through there. Then I set it at 4 inches. So that doesn't really have anything to do with the depth of how thick your first slab's going to be, as much as it is you got to compensate for these 2 pieces of wood here. So let's go ahead and get this all fired up and make our first pass. Okay, well, the first pass is done. So we just take and flip that out of the way. And there's your nice flat surface to continue making cuts with. And if you want to make dimensional lumber, you can, if you want live edge stuff, you can just leave it like this and continue making cuts. If you want dimensional lumber, then you have to flip it up. Do the same thing here to get a flat edge, and then do the same thing here to get a flat edge, and that way you got 3 square corners and you can make dimensional lumber. Now Granberg does make a mini mill attachment that bolts down here, and then you just run the saw this way and rip the boards off it that way. But for right now, I'm actually going to cut a few live edge pieces for some end table projects, and then I think I'm going to make some 4x4 dimensional stuff, so we'll get the live edge stuff off at first. Well, there you have it, the Alaska chainsaw mill. That is just some beautiful red pine, isn't it? Look at the grain in that. You know, you could build mantles and shelves and end tables, whatever you want. This just, you know, yes, I have a mill in the family, but this is fun to me to use a chainsaw and work. It's hard work, but if you don't have any other way and you need lumber, this is, man, that's just beautiful. So yeah, I'm going to make some end tables and some shelving and that type of stuff. If you want a more in-depth look, this wasn't really a review of the chainsaw mill, but if you want a more in-depth look, let me know in the comments. But for right now, that's all I have for you today. I appreciate you tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you're watching this on Facebook, link to my YouTube channel will be in the description below. Hit the subscribe button for me. Click that link and then go subscribe on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, then just hit the subscribe button. I would appreciate it. Just remember, tomorrow's a new day. Be creative and own it. I love you guys. You're wonderful. You are beautiful, and I'll see you next time.